Hi, it's Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and Merrick and I are going to talk about how to be prepared for what's coming next in the industry. So, thank you for joining me. I mean, 3 months of quarantining together, and you still come on the
Still
show.
here.
So.
Oh, yes, come on the show, yes. Come on the show, absolutely. Of course.
Yes.
Of course, and you've still done the Zoom vlogs, which
It's worked out really good.
Which has worked out really well.
I may do that even once the social distancing is lifted. I may be able to have guests that are from the East Coast or just not locally.
Somewhere another part of the world.
We learned a new skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
We learned a new skill.
Yeah. So what's coming next? So you've been taking clients and with this new system, the new health and safety issues at all. How have you been handling seeing clients with your?
I have had a couple of clients, so that's exciting for me because not working makes me go crazy. But no, it's actually, I was worried because I'm very engaged with my clients. I feel like, I kind of have them subconsciously mirror me. Like I kind of get the emotion that I'm, in the direction and kind of work with my clients. So, of course, before anybody comes, I disinfect everything and I'm wearing a mask. And I thought that would be really awkward to work wearing a mask. And the first session it was, but now it's I think I'm going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. So I'm wearing a mask and, I'm also, any of my clients know I get right up in your space normally.
Yeah.
So I'm learning to use my words and say straighten your shirt instead of me, but it's doing good. And my clients, I always have awesome clients and they've been really patient and trying to figure this out too. Cause, clearly if you have symptoms or don't feel good, don't come to your appointment. But aside from that, I'm feeling really, I was borderline germaphobe before all this, so you can imagine how disinfected everything is now. And I was a little bit uncomfortable, like going back into it. But I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Good. I was concerned. I think we talked about this because, as many of you know, Peggy's got this sparkling personality, and part of that's in her face. So the mask, we were, I think, concerned that hey, you're not going to have that connection for one. And also, you are this person. Come up and here, let me fix it. Let me tug that there. Let me straighten that there. And now that's not. Is it work to wear gloves or not working the camera? You just have to keep the distance.
I don't know if I think if it wouldn't work for me to stay back and say, hey, fix your shirt, no, right here, and if I was having an issue communicating, I could probably do that. Or if I had a client that said, hey, I'm not coming unless you wear gloves.
Sure.
But aside from that, I just feel it would be, and I thought the mask would be awkward, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad. I haven't tried it. How about that? I'll just leave it as I haven't tried it.
Maybe you can get a mask with like a big smile on the front so people can see you.
Like a
you're...
scary clown
No,
smile?
not a clown. They make them where it's like your face, and like I saw Jimmy Kimmel had one where it was his face on the mask.
Oh,
you get like a little Peggy
that's
smile.
Funny. That's
so
funny.
you're just smiling all the time but talking like a crazy person. So I was asking about that because I know that as many of you may have figured out or learned that Gavin Newsom, the governor, did make a statement that music, radio, film, television would be able to start production again as of June 12th, which is tomorrow, essentially. But again, the caveat is they have to meet certain guidelines. They have to be inspected, I believe. And I do know that some studios have put out their guidelines and for their productions. I just don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow. So I would be excited that yes, things are potentially starting up safely, but I don't know if I would expect anything to be really. I mean, the big TV shows. I think. You've got actors on these big TV shows that make them tons of money that are famous actors as well.
They don't want to get them sick.
So there's no way they want to put them at any risk whatsoever. And that's the last event we went to for the Film Academy Oh, sorry, the Television Academy. Film is next.
Exactly.
The Television Academy. It was for Westworld, and we love I love Westworld. Some of us, it's a little complicated.
Apparently, I'm not intelligent enough to get
No,
it.
it's not that. You just got to follow it from the very beginning. And even then, it's a little confusing, but at least follow it from the beginning. But we did. Normally, they have those events where they have a panel, Q&A. They show an episode, which they did for us, and then we're able to interact with them. We take pictures.
This was
we talk.
back in March, by the way.
This was back in March.
Right
back
before.
in March. Normally able to interact. And at that one, they said no, they're going to leave right away. After this, is not going to be interaction with the cast or
And that
writers
was
or producers.
right before the stay-at-home orders went into place, like literally like a week, I think.
That is
before.
correct. Yeah. Even at that event, we weren't even doing the distancing inside the theater.
No, nobody was wearing a mask. We were all
Yeah, we're still elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that I think the next thing went to
200 and then to 10 and then to
yes,
stay at home.
because we went to a screening with a good friend of ours, and they were by that time they were doing social distancing in the theater, but still no masks. I think at that
No,
point.
there was no mask, but we were setting. It was, I think, at that time every other seat or something, or
Yes.
every 2 seats in between us. It was.
Yes. So we got to hang out that screening with our good friend Alan Wasserman and his wife Amy, and that was the last public social event
That we've gone to.
back in March with our great friends, and I'm so thankful that it was with Alan and Amy. So that in mind, it's going to take some time for things to really get back on track. I think for things to be firmly in place, for them to be inspected, for them to be to where it is just a practice on set for people to do, because I don't think anyone's going to let any of the bigger stars onto a set unless that's fully in place. It's all protocoled, all set up. People are fully aware. And
it's going to take some getting used to, because, I mean, even with me doing headshots, wearing a mask, so imagine makeup artists wearing gloves and mask, and
yes,
the camera crew, the lighting crew. There's a lot of moving parts on a set, on a film set. We'll figure it out, but it's going to take a minute.
I imagine there absolutely will be gloves. There probably will be shields. I'm certain there's going to be masks. I've heard things early on saying that something about the crew can't use the same tools. They'll have to have individual tools they can use only. I'm not sure if that's still going to be the case. But certainly minimal crews on set, especially when actors are going to have to take their mask off to act, which we talked about this before, is the issue with makeup and the mask. So if you're on a set, you do your scenes, you have to wait sometimes an hour for next scene. So how are we going to keep your makeup, unless you just have the makeup artist touch you up every time and do a disposable mask?
I don't know, because I'm sure all of you that wear makeup every day, that have to go to the grocery store, go out. I know
You don't wear
I've
makeup
been doing
to the grocery store.
I know what I've been doing. I've been doing the makeup mask makeup, where I put makeup on my
The upper part.
forehead and my eyes.
That's it.
Because it just gets all over your mask and it's gross.
Correct.
So, and you, of course, when you're on set, you wear heavier makeup than I wear. So.
Well, thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
Wow, called out. Okay. All right, moving on. With all that in mind, with the expected delay, as many of you know, the film and television industry works on this pipeline, or this cycle of episodic season, pilot season, films, episodic season, pilot. So with this 3-month or so pause that we have been in, that cycle, that pipeline is now sort of backed up. It's in a bottleneck. So I suspect that by August, September, they will absolutely need to have things working and moving forward, but also several things have to happen right away. So for them to keep their schedule with their episodics, with the pilots, which I believe a lot of them, they've gone not even making pilots, but just giving the green light for the full series and shooting the whole thing, without even having actual pilots kind of happen because of the
Well, and I think it's already kind of started with all the streaming medias and so forth, all the streaming platforms, that there wasn't really a pilot season
Right.
episode.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of blurred lines
Yes,
already.
exactly. They're already.
And so I'm kind of wondering if that's even going to be a thing anymore, really. I mean,
It is still called that,
Right.
but you're right. Pilots are made throughout the year now.
Yeah.
You know, or certain episodics can start at different times, but they still call these seasons, these cycles, and that is still when the heavier casting happens is
Right.
January, February, and also August, September. That's when they're doing the heavy casting. That still happens typically. But with that in mind, with this now pause, what should we expect to happen once things do open up? Many of us believe that it will be more of a floodgates situation where
because we've all watched to the end of Netflix.
we've watched
We need
everything on
content.
Netflix. So they are. I believe that they are going to more likely scramble to get things cast and in production right away. So that means several things. Much probably, you know, I'm not sure how the size of it's double or 1.5 times the size of the normal casting load will probably happen. And what that means is, as actors, we want to be prepared. We want to help our casting directors, give them great options for them to make great shows for the producer and for the audience. So I think it's really important for actors to make sure that they've taken this time to prepare themselves, to stay honed in your skill, to learn new things, to make yourself a lot more marketable and to expand your art and what you do, and to be prepared marketing-wise for what will happen, because now the casting directors are getting the 3,000 submissions per thing. They've got some time to go through all 3,000 somehow, but I don't know if they're going to have time to go through all of them. So I would, one, update your headshots for sure. On the casting sites, Actors Access, for Casting Frontier, and LA Casting.
Now, whether you come to Headshots by Peggy or another headshot photographer, realize that this 2020, everyone has changed. Not just your appearance. Maybe you've lost weight, maybe you've gained weight, maybe you're shaved your head off, maybe you grew your hair long. You know, not just the physical, but we have changed as humans. Like our core has changed. We've gone through some stuff in the last few months that has changed us as who we are, and that shows in your headshots. So you really do need to update those headshots and really represent who you are as an actor, who you are, you know, what characters you can play, and really think now is really the time to do that. So, you know, I'm not just putting a plug in for Headshots by Peggy, but whoever your headshot photographer is, really make sure you sit down and say, hey, this is what I want to, you know, this is what I want to show in my headshots, because, you know, while I had these couple months off or few months off, you know, you found a different place that you hadn't found before, and you're able to, there's no way you didn't change in the last 3 months. It's just impossible.
Well, I would say from a practical sense, and in casting, for casting people, especially if you haven't updated your headshots in a while, normally I think what casting people do is they'll see your headshot. If it's an older one, they know they've seen you a while ago, but not too recent. They can, I'll call Joe in and see what he's, you know, maybe he might be right for this. I don't know if they'll have the time for that kind of casual guesswork on whether or not you're still a fit for the roles anymore. So updating yourself and making sure they know. And it'll show, the dates of your headshots do show. They show when your photos are updated on the casting websites. So you want to make sure that the casting person has an easier job knowing, okay, this is a recent headshot that was uploaded. More likely they still look like this. I can still count on them to come in looking like this. And, you know, that's another thing about headshots is you really do want to look like you. As I say, on a good day, you want to give your looks, your characters. There are two schools of thought on the headshots as far as how many to get or what kind to get. Whether to get some where you're actually in that mode, you're in the suit, or you're in the doctor's coat, or you're in the police uniform, or you're in the sweater. And some casting people say, no, I want to just see you And one or two looks, I don't need to tell me or specify. I can figure it out. I'm great. And that's true for some casting directors, certainly. I would say my experience has been that for commercials especially, I have gotten success with getting auditions because I have had myself in the mode of a doctor when I'm doing something for a pharmaceutical, or I'm in the mode of a police uniform. It doesn't have to be the full-on badge, but something similar at least, so they can kind of see you in that. So that's where, you know, having these outfits and the settings kind of give that image, so they can quickly say, yeah, that's a cop, or that's a nurse.
That's my attorney, that's my doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of make sure that, you know, most good headshot photographers give you sort of a questionnaire, I think, of looks that you want to accomplish for your session. So make sure that you communicate with your photographer so that they're aware of that. But
the more you communicate with your photographer, the more effective your headshots will be, because the photographer, I speak for myself. I assume there's a ton of great photographers.
Yes.
And I assume that you're going to go to a great photographer, and they want these to be effective. They want you to get auditions. They want you to send them text messages and emails and post on social media that you got an audition, and of course, that you booked, and we want to see you on TV. Like I go nuts every time I see one of my clients on TV. I like, holla,
Yeah.
So it's really fun, because it's like we had some little teeny tiny part in that,
Yeah.
But I say all that, I got a little distracted.
It's okay.
But because it is important that, for me, I have that questionnaire, and that's a way for that it helps me communicate with you and you communicate with me. So we're on the same page. But if you don't have a questionnaire, make sure that you really communicate. Don't just come in and say, I want a great headshot, because that doesn't say anything. That's not what's a great headshot? Like, that's a pretty broad, You want a great headshot, you want to look like a homeless person? You want a great headshot, you want to look like,
right.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, is, and I think you've talked a lot about how, everyone wants this pretty picture, and that's really not necessarily the effective thing for you. You want to show a look. They want to see you in this mode of something that they can see doing the role they're casting for. So keep that in mind. Your wardrobe, I think you've talked about wardrobe before, is important. Nothing too... you want to bring yourself to this, but also realize that you don't want something distracting. Women, I don't think you should wear jewelry necessarily.
Wardrobe is important, and not being distracting is important. And it's fine if you want to wear a doctor's coat or a dark suit, or whatever. But remember, the main thing is going to be that expression, and do I buy it in your expression? Right. And then the secondary is, subconsciously, do I see you in that role because of the way your demeanor, what your outfit is, and all those things. So those all play together. Correct.
So again, I think that's probably going to be a big help for the casting people, to make sure that you are up to date with those materials at least. Of course, update your resume if you haven't already, show any new skills that you gained. In this, what I predict is going to be a rush time. Again, they're going to need to make quick decisions. So whether you haven't had them in a while, or perhaps there are some casting directors that are fans of yours that usually call you in. This is a great time to send those headshots to them via a postcard or something like that.
Yeah, or social media.
Or social media.
Yeah, a lot of casting directors are out there.
They're looking at social media, so sure. And just make sure that you're ready, because it's going to be likely a challenge for you with your schedule, with your ability to get things done quickly. As far as self-tapes, self-tapes almost certainly going to be a thing when we start out, because casting offices, they are not about to have a ton of people in a waiting room for an audition anymore.
So self-tapes and video,
yes,
call.
Video call. So Zoom, many of us have been using Zoom now somehow out of nowhere. They are already doing Zoom auditions where you want to have that tool and set up ready. So have your, not just self-tape station set up, but also your Zoom capability, so that you can get through a good Zoom audition. Having a clear internet connection is important. Having good lighting is so important. I see so many people, actors on Zoom, that have not the best lighting. And that I think that that's something that you're really going to need to make an investment to make sure you have that, because again, quick decisions, strongest, best choices.
And by investment, I mean you can nickel and dime good lighting together. You do not have to spend hundreds of dollars on good lighting.
I mean, even if you have to MacGyver something, just not the big light behind you, not
yeah,
the,
just common sense things like don't stand in front of the window. Did I just cut you off?
No, I was going to say, I don't want to say common sense. I'll say many of us don't understand how to do lighting. It's fine to reach out. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Peggy to help you with understanding how to do your lighting for your self-tape or Zoom audition. But it's going to be important, because when casting people are picking their top picks to show their producers, directors, they're going to want to show the best looking, best acted, best fit ones. And so why give something that might knock you out of the running, like bad lighting where they can't see you? Again, these decisions are made, and they're going to be made a lot shorter time frame. So be at your best, get good lighting, have the headshots that help them call you in the first place, and be prepared. I hope you've been taking classes this past. There are several Zoom classes that have been happening.
And make sure you add those classes to your resume. I know he mentioned resume, update your resume, but those classes that you've been taking, those acting classes via Zoom and all those things, make sure you put those in your resume.
Right.
Let people know that you did not just check out, that you've been still sharpening your skills and being who you are, which is an actor.
And not just for the casting people, but for your agents and managers that pitch you to the casting offices. So of course, be in contact with your agent manager, let them know you're still working. So you have this team of people that are working to get you that audition, and you have the training and skill and practice to keep you where you're getting booked. Because I expect a lot of us to get booked for jobs this August and September to fill that pipeline that's empty. So be on your best, be prepared marketing-wise. Please, even though I said that major productions aren't going to start until maybe August, September, there are some that are going to start before, because they don't have the big corporate thing to go through. But that doesn't mean that you should not be safe on set. Don't be afraid to tell them before you arrive to set, hey, I need to know what your safety protocols are, so I'll know if it's something I can deal with. When you're on set, don't be timid about saying, hey, I'm going to go wait somewhere else. I don't feel comfortable waiting in this crowded room, because a lot of times those actors are waiting for a while around groups of people. And there's no need to put yourself at any risk at all. We still don't know quite enough about this yet. We are learning a lot, but it's still not all there, and there's no reason to put yourself or anyone else at risk because you're too shy to say something. So be safe out there for sure when you get to work.
And I wanted to say one more thing.
Yes.
You mentioned keeping in touch with your agent and manager. If you have not been keeping in touch with your agent and managers through this stay-at-home orders and kind of the little break we had here, now is a great time to shoot them an email and say, hey, hope you're safe.
Yeah.
How are you doing? I'm excited to get back to work, and just kind of let them know a little bit of what you've been doing. Just a quick, not 3-page an essay, just a quick note, and let them know, hey, I'm ready for you to send me out on auditions.
Yeah, and again,
and get you up first in the mind of your agents and managers and as well.
Absolutely, and remember, we're all a team in this. A lot of times it feels like you're trying to sell yourself for people to do something just for you, but you understand that this business is set up to where we're all working together to create something and get paid to do something. So your agent manager, that's your team to help you get work. That manager, casting person, you're a team to help cast this project for the producers and directors. And those are for something for the audience to see. We're all a team in creating this. So by reaching out, you want to show that you really do care, because you should, about your casting offices, your agents and managers, to make sure they're okay. Because we're all working together in this business. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. And remember, you are reaching out because you want to be the answer to their problem.
Yes.
They want to make money as much as you want to make money. So your agent wants to submit you, that casting director wants to cast you. You know, we have to realize that that, you know, you're not bugging them like, hey, help me, help me, help me. Instead, present yourself as, hey, how can I help you?
Right.
I'm here. I'm ready to work. Let me help you.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
not always going to be about money, too. Actors want to present great work. Agents and managers want to present great actors from their roster to show that they're a higher standing. Casting people want to present great actors to their producers and directors so they can cast great actors. So we're all in this to create something great and to make money. So look at it that way, okay? You shouldn't have the attitude of it's all about me, what are you doing for me? It is really about how can we help each other. I want to do great work. You want to make sure that great actors get hired. Let's figure this out so we can be a great match for each other when the opportunity comes up. So keep that in mind. Anything else you want to add,
I think
Mrs.
that's...
Amazing Photographer Woman?
This is Merrick and Peggy after 3 months of quarantine. We did it. We're so excited to go back to work, and we're so excited to see you guys in person, even if it's 6 feet away, just to see you guys in person again. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was encouraging. And like Merrick said, if you have questions, shoot us a direct message, shoot us a email, call us, whatever. We're more than happy to help in any way we possibly can. So thank you for hanging out with me on camera.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure to be on such a prestigious vlog with this woman who has all these great industry folks on it, and you let me come on to talk to people. So it's quite an honor. Thank you.
Make sure that you follow him on social media. Follow me on all of my social medias. Most importantly, have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week.